Well, hey.
Ooh. We need
Hello
the
there.
hype sound.
Welcome,
Bow,
everybody.
bow, 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 bow.
Oh, we don't have an air horn.
The soundboard.
Yeah.
Just imagine in your head. Ready? Oh, that was good. That was good. Very memey.
These were good questions in the private chat. Did they change the font of our names?
I think they
think so.
changed the
It looks
Look
different,
at all of the font.
It's much more rounded. Yeah.
I'm tempted to like actually pay for one of these services and see what it unlocks. Of like changing to the branding and things like that. But anyway,
I also do think the tempo of that song starts out much faster.
It does. There's a moment. Especially when I listen back to the VOD, I'm like, is it stuttering? There's something that it just changes. I agree. We've listened to it too much.
Yeah.
I don't think I even noticed that. All right, here. I'm going to be a little smart today and like mute my phone before I pull up the
hacks.
Good idea.
All right, there we go.
Do that too.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to ProfsPlay, a channel where we, today, 3 academics, try to take our gaming nerdiness to ever higher levels. This summer, we are hanging out, playing some D&D. Today, we are continuing our D&D campaign. Super excited to be here. And I guess, in case anybody hasn't noticed yet, should probably acknowledge that we are only 3 today. I thought I just needed this. We are down 1 sweater wolf, which is a bummer. But we will do the best
temporarily. Only temporarily.
Temporarily. We'll do the best we can to manage the story and her character without her to the best of our ability. And then we should be all reunited once again next week. My name is Prof A. I will be playing as the GM for today's game. It is a homebrew game, so expect a lot of things that might be much more on the rules as intended or rules as fun side of things. Really love homebrewing content and keeping things very narratively focused. And if that's something that you're into, well, I certainly hope you enjoy the next couple hours with us. I guess now let me pass it over to my awesome co-streamers to introduce yourselves and who are you playing today? What's up, Sir Baron Sand? Welcome in, my guy. I guess we can send it over to Tamari, and then we'll bounce it back up.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Prof Lynette from Wizard PhD, and I play Tamari, who is a swift stride ranger and rogue little friend here. She likes to shoot. She likes to roll around. She likes to shift into a cat or cat-like. Not full cat, but, you know. She is part of this group. She's pretty young, on her own self-discovery, affirming journey, trying to find her place. She is really close with Loon, who his son was one of her good friends, and so she's following along to I don't know what we're doing at this point because we have like 50 side quests, but we're doing a lot of stuff in town. She likes to shoot. That's all you need to know about Tamari.
Do you find it, this is just kind of a meta question. Do you find yourself thinking about D&D in like video game terms and stuff? Like, I guess it's a question to both of you, right? In terms of like quests, like side quests, like things like that. Even though I guess like historically it was the other way around, right? People would think about video game design from the perspective of pen and paper. But just out of curiosity, like what's this experience been like for y'all so far?
Yeah, it's really interesting because like that question about do you talk about things in terms of video game terms, I think has just translated to my life in general. So it's not specific to D&D, but it's like, I think you said something in our Discord the other day, Prof A, where you were saying in your streaming, you were like canceling a stream because you're doing a side quest in real life or something. You said something like that, and I was like, oh, that's funny. So yeah, I guess I haven't thought about it, but it's interesting how like that sort of discourse blends because we're all like this. We do this a lot, so why wouldn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right, Jay, who are you and who are you playing today?
Hello, I'm Jay Plays Games. I'm playing as Tenju Loon, a human ranger who is a little bit older. He's in his mid 50s or so, and he, as Tamari has mentioned, knows Tamari from her youth. She was friends with his son. His son was sort of conscripted and died, and we were sort of in ideological conflict. And I feel like there's something unresolved, which has been moving me along this sort of journey and stuff. Mostly, as far as I can tell, because Loon also likes a little bit of the sipping. So in terms of that question, I think that's very interesting. I'm going to sort of take it sort of the opposite way. I mean, like I think a lot, I guess, about a lot of the sort of video game and certainly like video game RPG tropes that I knew, like you mentioned, Prof. They sort of came from tabletop and pen and paper into video games. But when I started playing a lot of these old RPGs, it was in the 80s. A lot of that stuff was very direct from the pen and paper, and so that's how I started to learn, RPG games and stuff like that. So I know in some ways a lot of the mechanics. When we've been playing, however, this summer, I've actually tried very consciously, and it seems to actually have come more natural than I expected, to like really play with the idea of, as a tabletop, it's very free flowing. You as a player have way more agency to control what's happening, right? You can just be like, hey, I'm going to try this thing out. And in a video game, in a digital game, often you can't do that. But here, we can try. Like I mentioned a couple things in our behind the scenes sort of Discord on some ideas I had, and Prof. being the good GM says, you sure can try it in game, but we'll constrain as well. But in a digital game, you can't do that at all. So I've actually really enjoyed kind of that idea of that sort of like collaborative game design. Almost, we're designing this experience together, and I haven't paid nearly as much attention to the kind of sort of like video game-ish or even game kind of elements. I've thought a lot more about the who are these people and what are they doing and stuff. So that's, for me, has been really interesting.
Nice. I love that. And that certainly is, I think, like I said, I think I mentioned this. I used to watch a lot of Critical Role. I was like super into the first campaign of Critical Role. And that was probably one of the things I borrowed from Matt Mercer that I really love is turn of phrase, you can certainly try.
We've heard that a number of times.
I also love how you want to do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are great Mercer-isms that have just kind of my own GMing style. All right, cool. Well, all of that said, we have a little intro video for y'all that kind of sets the tone.
Pardon me, sorry. Will you also introduce Lirin briefly? Do you have a...
Oh, yeah. Well, let's... Why don't
Yeah,
y'all...
we have to introduce
we haven't done this
like we did for you, Loon.
Oh, yeah, right. Yes, exactly.
So tell us about your third traveler campaign. Talk about Lirin, what it is your characters... How do your characters relate to, perceive? What do they think about?
Yeah.
Lirin?
Tamari very much admires Lirin for what he can do. So he is am I gonna mess this up? Dragonborn cleric. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. And
double check. Yep.
So yeah, like I mean, not having a existing relationship with Lirin, kind of meeting someone who can do things that Tamari can't, and so there is this, and also being somewhat of similar age as Tamari, I think there's somewhat of Tamari is naturally drawn to wanting to be friends with Lirin. Like, okay, cool. Like, it's not just me and Loon, which is fine. It's fine, but at least we have another person to joke around with, especially given the recent developments with Loon's habits. So Tamari thinks that Lirin is cool, and I think that the feeling's mutual, even though I think that Tamari is a little more like teasing towards Lirin than I think Lirin is to Tamari, but it has like that sort of flavor in the friendship.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, cool. What about you, Loon? I don't think we visited your thoughts on
right. Yeah. So Loon has, in the same way, been respects and kind of impressed by what he can do on the battlefield, right? Like watching, especially in that first sort of encounter we had, where it just like just broke out the sort of spell, and coming from, kind of the farm world, it's just things I had never seen before, that sort of transforming into things and the kind of magical energy flowing through and stuff. And so it's been very, very sort of impressed by that. And I guess kind of has a kind of a natural paternalistic kind of, feeling towards both of my companions and stuff, but also remains extremely wary of of the good intentions that Lirin often has, especially when trying to help heal things. Those claw marks still sting, and that's stuck with Loon a little bit.
Nice. I like it. As Wolf has often reminded us, right? Our characters will tell us who they are. I know that we had kind of an initial sense of who we wanted to play. It's kind of it's been really fun to watch everybody kind of become themselves. That's good. Thank you for that reminder. What else? Anything else before we get started? I guess just the usual disclaimer of, hey, we love you, chat. And if you are watching the VOD after the fact, thank you for spending your time with us and hanging out. If we aren't great at responding out loud in chat during the session, we do apologize. It is not because we do not like you or trying to ignore you, but because we, at least again, speaking for myself, really just trying to keep focus on each other, right? In the game itself, and kind of being present, which I have thoughts to share about that, but not till later, not till way later, not till like after this chapter of the campaign closes. Cool. Anything else?
No, I'm excited. I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it. All right, as we often do, we have a little video to share with y'all that just kind of sets the tone and gives you a little bit of background information on the world, the campaign. It's also a nice couple of minutes for us to just kind of get in the mood, get ourselves into the heads of our characters. So now, without further ado, let's cue that up, and then we'll go ahead and get started with today's session.
The world is changing. Magic is fading, and with it, the old ways. Outsiders have come to these lands, wielding weapons of thunder and smoke. They bring knowledge, they say, but at what cost? The strength of our dreams is fading. Even the ghosts of our ancestors are silent. Yet, all is not lost. There are whispers that a new magic is growing. More and more storytellers in the tea houses speak of these wonders. Tales of warriors who soar through the sky like birds. Creatures of living metal, rising from the earth. Some even believe the ways of the ancients are waiting to be reborn. It is into this changing world that our heroes have been thrust. Will they be the ones to preserve the old magic in the new age of machines? Will they seek to restore harmony in the time of growing chaos? Or will they seize the opportunity to gain power untold? This is a new age, an age of storms.
All right. Hopefully I'm sharing the right one. I have to be careful not to share my GM.
All your secrets.
Yeah, right. Is that sound coming through okay? I touched the volume slider while the video was playing. So should be back to normal now.
Good.
Okay. Well, when we last left our heroes, we had done a number of things. But I think the kind of overall, the general arc, you had all just returned from fulfilling your end of a bargain with a woman you once knew as the Tale Teller, that favor involving tracking down a mysterious inventor called the Maker, making sure he was okay, delivering a speaking glass to him. You just returned from that trip to the city of Magao. A bunch of stuff happened in the city as well. Anybody remember some of the outlines of those recent events? I tried to kind of give a little overview here, but feel free to fill in the details.
When we showed up and there were those guards, and then some priests showed up and did the whole "these are not the droids you're looking for" thing, and Loon suffered a massive headache or something. I don't know. There was a lot of drama upon our arrival back to Magao.
And if I remember, it wasn't looking good, right? There was lots of troops around. They were not buying our story at all.
Oh yeah,
and then
I tried to slip a gold piece. That did not work.
It didn't work. One of these days, bribery will work. I swear. But then a northerner, the father, Damaso, sort of spoke on our behalf. And Damaso.
I don't know. I wrote down a bunch of things. Let me look at my notes.
All these names. Good lord. So many names. Loon.
Damaso?
Damaso, yeah. Sort of spoke on our behalf. Yeah.
Later.
Yeah. And then we met the other sort of task we had in front of us. The Maker had sort of tasked us with finding his apprentice, which was... Lirin at the forge, and so we headed to the forge and visited her there, and sort of dropped the knowledge that we knew she was in secret the Maker's apprentice.
Mm-hmm. Also, is there supposed to be music playing? Because I don't hear music.
Yeah, I don't hear anything either.
There can be. There is not.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm like waiting for where's my town music?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
We should. All right. We have town music.
Town music. And then did we make it? We were heading towards the Tale Teller. I can't remember if we entered or we were almost there.
I think we entered because there's that same description of like you feel like you're transported to a different world or something. I don't know. Yeah. Profe said, or our GM said that in
recent events. We returned. Okay, yeah, we returned.
Yeah.
And then I had to suddenly leave, which I do apologize about. But we can pick up right where we left off. If I recall correctly, I think you had just arrived back at the Tale Tellers. I guess we can go to our little full map of the thing. Oh wait, keep on forgetting to move this bookmark. Okay. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so there you are up at the Tale Tellers, and I guess that is where we can pick up. Trying to get organized inside Roll20. I think I know where my things are. Okay.
Trying to get organized with why we're back here. I can't exactly remember.
Yes.
But Loon's head is splitting headache still, and he's having a little bit of forgetfulness on why we've come back to the Tale Teller.
The rice wine is not helping.
Yeah. Well, Yeah.
If anything, he's consistent.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
All right. You return to the Tale Teller, and you're greeted once again by the familiar sight of this old woman. She speaks to you in a hushed voice as the three of you enter into her small house. Thank you for returning to me, she says. She looks over the three of you and says, "We should talk more, but not here." She waves a hand and whispers an incantation, and a visual simulacrum of the room that you're standing in, including copies of everyone in it, appears. It's a little unnerving, but she tries to reassure you. This won't last long, and of course, it won't hold up to close scrutiny, she says. We should hurry. And she opens a door sort of a trap door in the floor of the house, revealing a set of stairs leading down into darkness and beckons for you to follow. What would you like to do?
I'm definitely following.
Yeah,
Well,
go.
before I go down, I kind of want to like look at this Tamari. That's like they're like
Very handsome, very handsome.
okay. And then I'll go follow.
Yeah, I think following her kind of warily. I don't know. That is a very strange. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, but the last 2 months have been. I've never seen most of what I've seen. So, kind of warily, Loon will follow as well.
Okay. I am also doing what Sweater Wolf does. I'm like trying to click on things inside screen. All right. You follow her downstairs into a cellar, and around you is a set of simple chairs and a table, a chest that seems to emanate cold from within and drain the heat from around it. 2 rolled up mats sit in the corner along with packs and walking canes. The old woman turns to you and says, I'd like to introduce you to my daughter, the true tale teller, Makoya. Slouching in a chair near the window is a young, free-spirit human with short-cropped, messy black hair and deeply brown eyes. When you lock eyes with them, they seem to gaze not at you, but at something deep within. They wear a simple green tunic, common among the villagers working in Wujan, with a dark blue cloak draped over their shoulders. Though you guess they are around Tamari's age, they wince in pain as they rise out of their seat to approach you. Their right arm clutches their left, which appears to be covered in lizard scales that have shifted in color from yellow-green to blue as you enter the room. They speak to the woman you know as Akeha without the honorifics you're used to hearing. Soma, this is them, huh? She asks. The ones you think will finally prove me wrong. Akeha turns back to her, turns to you, and says, I apologize for being dishonest, but I had to know I could trust you first. As you may have heard, my name is Hekate, and as you probably understand now, I am not the tale teller you heard about. That title belongs to my daughter. Makoya clicks her teeth lightly, but says nothing. She can help you reach out to your son, if that is still what you desire. She pauses, looking at the two of you, waiting for a response.
Do you live down here? I say, like, to Makoya.
She says, live is maybe not the way I'd put it. We've been traveling from 3 Rivers, and we're in the city temporarily. This is where I sleep, though. And she kind of jerks her head toward the corner with where the mats and the bags and the walking sticks are leaning.
Writing more names. And Loon is just. Oh, thank you. Loon is kind of just sort of staring somewhat incredulously at this sort of suggestion, this communicate, and he sort of shakes his head and says, but my son is dead.
Yeah, she says, I think I can help with that. But first, I need to tell you something, Kailun. She prefaces your name with the honorific for an older male relation. Your son Yari and I were... Sorry, I don't know how to make this not awkward. We were together for a time before he died. Those mornings he was late to rise and tend to the farm, well, that was why. We were why. After a long pause, she adds, "Sir."
Tamari kind of glances down at the ground.
And the loon kind of absorbs, but it's almost bouncing off, kind of.
Mokoya sighs, and the scales on her arm pulse through hues of green against a steady blue. Hecate interrupts. "We were both deeply hurt when we heard of your son's passing, Kailun. Mokoya especially." "Anyway," Mokoya says, "I've never used my shaping to reach out to the world beyond, but I was curious to see if I could," she explains. "I did try to find him while you went to look for the Maker. And he's still here, Kailun, in our world. Or at least her spirit, or at least his spirit is. We could reach out to him, but he'll be speaking through me. I hope that's not weird," she says.
Again, just sort of incredulous at all these suggestions of talking to the dead and stuff. This is not that Loon isn't buying it, but just almost can't even conceive of what they mean.
Tamari just says quietly, "He never mentioned you."
She, for a moment, looks a little hurt, and then after a few seconds, sort of tries to look neutral again, although the colors on her arm once again are beginning to shift and change. She looks back at you, Loon, and says, "What do you think? Should we try?"
We can try.
Mokoya closes their eyes and their breathing slows. Hecate wanders over and puts an arm around her shoulder. The chill air of the basement suddenly warms, then returns. Mokoya opens their eyes again. "Sorry, but I might need a little help." They turn to Lirin. "You're a conduit too. You're the one that received my vision," she says, "when I first called out to you about this building. Can you help me?" Lirin strokes their mustache for a moment and turns to the two of you with eyebrows raised.
"What? You had a vision? That's so cool, Lirin."
"It was not something I could control," Lirin responds. "But do you remember when we were first looking for Jonas, the woodworker? It was that vision that I saw this house, that I was called to it," Lirin explains.
That explains why you knew this was the one. I get it now.
Lirin turns back to Loon and says, "I want to be respectful of your bond, Loon. Is this something you wish for me to try?" Lirin asks.
It is, but I'm not sure that's a tone you'd believe.
I will try that," Lirin says. Mokoya takes both of Lirin's hands and explains out loud, "We've been taught to see the world in 5 natures, so I know this is going to sound weird, but I need you to look beyond them, to feel beyond them," she says to Lirin. "Close your eyes and tell me what you see." Lirin takes a deep breath, closes their eyes, and after a few moments says, "I see open skies and clouds with all the shades of purple you can imagine. I see lights dancing, all the colors of the world," Lirin says. "Yes, you're doing it," Mokoya says. "I can feel it. Now, take that feeling and channel it into your hands, into mine. All of a sudden, Makoya's posture changes. Their chest puffs out, their shoulders pull back, and they shift their weight to their right leg, as Yari had always done when he had to stand still for too long. Makoya's hand seems to instinctively move to scratch non-existent stubble on their chin. Loon and Tamari, you both immediately begin to recognize the mannerisms of Tenju Yari. Dad? You hear Makoya's voice speaking. Dad, is that you? They pause.
My son, sort of squinting almost, because the form almost looks different, right? Like almost in the stance and is grown a little almost in my eyes. I can almost see Yari there.
Makoya's body turns to Tamari in recognition. Mari, you came too? You came to find me.
Tamari stares but says nothing.
Makoya's body turns to Lirin. And you, I'm sorry we haven't met, but if my father and Tamari trust you, I do too. They wait for your reaction.
And again, just sort of dumbfounded, continuing to be dumbfounded, kind of. And Loon asks, where are you? How are you here?
They pause for a moment. It's hard for me to explain because I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm floating over the city, and I'm not there either. I'm at the Makers, and now I'm outside the Church of the One, but it's all so confusing, Dad. Pauses for a moment. I don't know where or when I am. I feel that there's a reason I need to be here.
And Loon sort of steps back and says, when you left, you told me to seek the way, and I never listened. Is this why?
For a moment, their cheeks blush red. Well, I'm guessing you met Makoya, Dad. They are why I asked you to seek the way. Once you see what they can do, you'll understand why I hold on. He corrects himself. I held on so hard to the ways of our people.
And suddenly I see Makoya instead. Loon just the form, even though it's still kind of, the outline of Yari, it's clearly Makoya's features and face. Like I now see this person standing there too, and just sort of confusion, but also some clarity.
There's something else, Dad. It's the reason why I think I can't pass over into the world beyond. Have you, and he looks across at the three of you, have any of you heard of the Church of the One here in Magao? Before I died, there were whispers of dark things happening in the orphanage run by Father Damaso. Wujan children undergoing some kind of ceremony of purification. Some disappearing and never coming back. But others coming back changed. Not themselves anymore. Hey, sweater! Outside, the sound of footsteps, and Hekate moves toward the cellar door. I will keep watch above. If you hear something from me, there are smuggling tunnels that lead outside the walls of the city, and she gestures toward a wall that you now see seems to be crumbling and cracked. Take Makoya with you if I give the signal, and she rushes upstairs. leaving you, the three of you, once again, with your thoughts.
I turn to Loon. What?
That was Yari. You saw it, or you saw him.
Yeah. I mean, and what? Okay, so I knew that father guy was sus. He was like, why would you want to help? We don't know him, and he's like, oh, come with me.
And I turn to Lirin, and Lirin is sort of a little spent, right? A little energy sort of spent. And I say, what was that? How did you do that?
Again, as you speak to Makoya, their form once again changes and adjusts, and you notice once again the mannerisms of Yari. Dad, there's more. The spirits of the children who haven't come back. They've reached out to me. Dad, I know what they're doing. They're looking for children, he says. Children from Wujan who are showing signs of world shaping. Their ceremony, whatever it is, it takes our power away. It severs our connection to the five natures. The children who do come back, they don't have the same light in their eyes they used to. But not all the children come back from the ceremony, he says. I don't know what they're doing in that underground chamber. Something is stopping me from seeing in there. Their voice trails off. Dad, Tamari, I can't leave this world, not yet. I can't cross over until those children are free. Makoya's body clutches at her head. Their spirits are crying out to me, but I can't tell from where. He pauses. I'm sorry for spying, but I've seen what the three of you can do against those thugs in the city, in the Maker's hideout. He turns to Lirin, who is looking a little shaky on his feet. You can do things most people haven't seen in a generation. We need to do something. We need to free those children and put an end to whatever the church is doing. Suddenly, Makoya's body shudders and crumples upon itself. She's breathing heavily on the floor. Upstairs, you hear Hekate speaking with two other voices. Makoya looks up, and you notice the mannerisms and way of carrying themselves is back. Wow, Makoya says. That was pretty weird. All traces of Yari seem to be gone from them. I did hear it all, but it was like watching myself from the inside. I guess I should have told you and Mom. I've never done that before.
Oh my god. Are you serious? Tamari just kind of like turns away, like exasperated.
She looks a little sheepish.
I feel we've been hunted since we've been in this, when we've been back in this city. I don't know how much longer we'll have here. You mentioned a way out?
If you need to leave, there are tunnels, and she kind of gestures toward the back. What are you going to do now? She asks.
I think we all exchange a look. Like a knowing look. And Loon sort of speaks, I think, for them and says, we're heading to the Church of the One. Determined, very determined. Perhaps the most determined you've seen Loon this entire time.
Tamari looks at Loon and says, okay, I'm with you. But how in the world are we supposed to keep Lirin safe? Lirin has been, everyone's trying to grab Lirin every chance we get. The mustache, no offense, Lirin, it's not working. You just gotta know it's not working. I don't know how to disguise you.
Lirin doesn't react the way you think they would, but he looks increasingly uncomfortable, and now beads of sweat are starting to form on his face, although he says nothing.
Are you okay?
He struggles to get out. I do not feel so good, he says. I need to sit for a moment. He moves toward one of the other chairs in the room. I'll be fine, he says. But his breathing is heavier than you're used to hearing. I'll be fine. Let us continue.
I turn to Mikoya. Is there anything that we can do? I mean, I know you've said that this was the first time you've done this, so great, but anything we can do to help Lirin?
She looks a little panicked, and she turns to you and says, "Oh my God, did I do this? Is this my fault?"
It might not be your fault, but I just, maybe... Okay, Lirin, just sit there. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine.
Lirin strokes his mustache. It's almost become like a comfort blanket of sorts. So it's like, no, I think I'm feeling better. It should be fine. I am quite angry at what we have just learned, however. I will follow your lead, Kailun. We must investigate this church.
Okay, well... I mean, Lirin, if you need to rest, you can rest here. And I glance at Mikoya like, yeah, that's okay, right? Or, if you're feeling up to it, we'd love to have you around. But I think we should move.
She quietly nods as Akeha returns from upstairs. They were guards, she explains, but they were not clear on what they were looking for. Still, it may be best not to tally much longer, she says.
Loon turns to Mikoya and asks, "Are you familiar with this underground area that Yari mentioned? Do you know where this is?"
She thinks for a moment and says, and she pauses. I'm not sure if these rumors are to be believed, but they say there is another entrance to the church through the sewers of the city. It's not something that I would recommend, but I'm also not sure if walking in through the front door is the best approach.
The sewers, eh?
Yeah. We got it. It's fine. We explored a cave, no problem, kind of. We'll just be more careful this time.
It's not so much the animals that I'm worried about, the rats, but the people who live down there that worry me.
She looks at you sidelong. There are people who live in the sewers? She sort of leans in, very interested. Mikoya is kind of looking very tired and kind of fanning herself in the chair.
I've never met them, but I've heard I certainly don't want to.
She explains,
Oh, good.
I'm not sure how much else there is we can do for you, but please come visit us if you ever need a place to rest.
We're getting shooed out the door, shooed into the sewers. I think we get the hint. So we make our way towards the sort of tunnel that they pointed to.
All right. As the three of you move toward the exit in the back of the room, you hear a sudden heavy thud from just behind you. It is Lirin, who has just fallen off his chair. His tail curled around his torso, his body spasming as he pulls himself into a fetal position. He growls instinctively, but you can hear the pain in his voice. Panicked, Makoya stands up and braces herself to one of the walls of the room. Oh my God, this was me. I did this. What? I don't know what happened, she says.
I don't. Lirin, what's wrong? I'll crouch over.
Lirin kind of continues to twist and spasm, and they look at you with clarity in their eyes, but they seem unable to speak.
Well, I'm not sure how far we'd get through the sewers carrying Lirin. I'm not sure leaving him here is a good idea.
Akeha turns to you and says, there is nothing we can do. We have no training. We have... And her voice trails off. But the temple of flowing waters, there are other conduits there. They may be able to help, she says.
How do we get there?
She says, give me a moment. And she explains to you the directions for how to get to the Temple of Flowing Waters, which is right here in the city. In fact,
Tamari is very stressed out right now. Trying not to pass blame, but also like urgently like, okay, help us right now. That's her vibe.
I should be able to... There it is. On your map. Lirin kind of continues to spasm and growl and claw at the ground, but still they seem unable or unwilling to speak.
Do the sewers lead towards the cape, towards the bay, right? Can we take these sewers towards the temple?
What I would recommend is that you, if you leave out and enter into the sewers, there's sort of a variety of ways to get back up to the surface. So maybe it might make sense to surface not quite outside the city and then make your way to the temple. If that's where you want to go.
Yeah, we gotta get Lirin.
I think we need to help Lirin first.
Can we move Lirin? The two of us?
Can the two of us? Can we sort of, one arm over, dangling over, claws precariously close to our throats as we carry Lirin sort of into the tunnel?
As almost as
I'm worried.
Your touch is soothing. Lirin's breathing begins to slow as you sort of heft his weight onto your shoulders. Lirin is tall, lithe, but still fairly heavy. But with the two of you, you're both able to walk around, albeit at a pretty slow pace, carrying him.
As we get sort of situated, I kind of take the fake beard and kind of wrap it around the claws a little bit for a little. Beard serves many purposes. Yes, yeah. This was a very good purchase.
Multi-use.
Multi-use.
Again, at the touch of the mustache, Lirin seems to calm down a little bit, but they seem pretty unresponsive otherwise. How big are they? I mean, are we crouched in these sewers, or is there enough? I mean, we're walking sort of three across. So they have to be kind of wide in at least the sort of entrance to the sewers, right? Yeah, I don't know if three across would be the easiest thing. You might have to like do this weird turn thing and like side shuffle out. It's pretty
can we see in it?
Can we see? Yeah.
Or is it too dark?
There are no light sources in it, but if you have low light vision, you can sort of feel your way around. And it doesn't, at least from kind of opening the wall and looking down it doesn't actually seem, based on the airflow, that there are a whole lot of side tunnels. It seems to all kind of lead straight out. Tamari has low light vision, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I can be in front.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we shuffle through the muck for a while, towards and it looks like it's sort of widening like towards maybe like a basin or something, and I think is like I see a little bit of light maybe above us.
You do, and you smell freshly caught fish wafting in through the air above, as well as hints of the ocean.
I believe it smells better than down here, so I don't see much of a way up.
Yeah, what's the plan?
I wonder if there's a way we could get up there. How tall is this sort of room that we've entered? I think there's like a little. How high above is yeah, go ahead.
That you're in, it actually looks like it was dug exactly for this purpose. And although there is not like a ladder per se, as you kind of scramble and feel around the walls, you do feel some outcroppings that seem to stretch upward and may give you some handholds out of the tunnels.
Handholds, but I'm not sure Lirin can. I don't know if we can handhold our way and pull up.
I have a rope. I don't know if that would help.
Yeah, we have adventuring gear, don't we? I think I have some rope too.
We make like a little, I don't know, harness for Lirin.
Oh, I have a pan flute. I slowly take the pan flute out.
Oh my god!
As I'm thinking,
this will heal you, Lirin.
As I'm thinking about how to play the pan flute in
music.
I also have 50 feet of rope. Lirin perks up for a moment in recognition and speaks. Where are we? He says.
We are about to get you some help. We don't know where we are either.
We're on our way somewhere
better. It's gonna
better.
be okay.
Yeah. He puts his head up and says, I cannot move my body. And then all of a sudden, once again, the stupor washes over Lirin's face and he slumps down, unresponsive.
Oh. Can't you smell that fish?
Good fish, Lirin. I try to like waft from the up or be like, smell it.
It must be really good fish to be able to smell it in the sewer.
Lirin seems to sort of instinctively bob upwards, but then slump back down.
I'm hoping for the floating up towards the smell of the fish again. Is there anything that we could maybe, wrap the rope around to be able to sort of like, pulley ourselves up?
There's sort of a grate at the top of it. So you could certainly try.
Rats.
I mean, do you just want me to climb up there and ask the people at the temple if they can come down here? Or do you want to try the pulley?
That might actually be easier.
Okay.
I guess another alternative is you could take the sewer all the way to the end and then come back around, right? It has to let out in the bay kind of area, right? And then we can just come up that direction, but maybe going up might be the best move here.
Okay. So I'll put a hand on Lirin and say, okay, Lirin, hang tight. We're going to get you that fish. All right. Just stay with the loon right here.
Lirin grunts, but otherwise is unresponsive.
I play a happy tune on my pan flute. I forgot I took that.
I'm going to
tune.
try to climb, hopefully not falling and harming herself. I don't know.
Okay. Let's roll it. Okay. Let's roll. What is this? Probably looks like athletics, right? You attempt to climb. Yeah, let's do athletics.
Unless there's an acrobatic way I can do it.
Oh.
No, okay, I'll do athletics. Come on, Tamar. It's a 4.
Oops.
Okay. The holds are fairly stable, but for some reason, maybe it's nerves, maybe you just your mind is distracted, but you end up slipping on a handhold and sort of veering into one of the walls. You do get near the top of the grate, but as you do, you lose your footing on the last sort of foothold that you've placed on, and you start to fall. Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Come on, Tamari! Don't take fall damage in a sewer. Okay, 16.
All right.
With a 16, your arm instinctively shoots upward, and your fingers wrap around one of the metal prongs in the grate. You have come very close to falling, I don't know, like 20 feet down to the ground. But very quickly, you manage to secure your second hand onto the grate. You find some decent footholds, and you are now just about at the surface. As your eyes sort of peer through the gate, you see that you are very close to the wet docks in the docks district. And there are people sort of milling about, going about different kinds of business exchanges.
Is there any like particular conversation that I can hear going on right now?
Most of it, people are just arguing about the going price of fish and tools and weapons from abroad. But other than that, you don't hear a lot of substance in their conversation, unless you're like really into the economics of the
Okay. So Tamari is gonna like just think to herself, okay, you got this, and she's gonna summon all her confidence to act like she's confident. Yes, I belong in this sewer, and I'm coming out, and this is exactly where I need to be. Nobody look at me, it's fine, and climb out.
Okay. You climb out, and most of the people around they're just too involved in the things that they are doing and talking about and arguing about. You actually see somebody throw a punch and then very quickly is grabbed by city guards and led away. But nobody seems to notice that you've emerged from the sewer.
All right, I'm gonna head towards the direction that Makoya said for the Flowing Waters Temple.
Right. Outside of the temple, you see a number of monks sort of milling around, and they are sort of signaling different people from the city who seem to be visiting toward one of the entrances. What's going on with you, Lou? How's it going down there in the city?
I keep hearing voices kind of in the distance, not too close, but also not too friendly sounding. I'm getting a little anxious.
All right, Tamari, what would you like to do?
All right, I'm gonna go up to the people to try to find someone to get help from.
Okay. You notice there's one monk who's sort of trailing behind the rest. You approach them, and with sort of kind eyes, they look at you and say, "Yes. What is it that I can do for you?"
Hi. My name is Tamari. One of my friends needs a lot of help. Makoya. Oh shoot! I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but okay. Makoya sent us to potentially get help from you, and they're in pain. They're underground, and I don't know who else to turn to.
He softens his expression. "Please slow down, my sibling. It will be all right." And in an even tone, they turn to several other monks who are nearby, and they say, "This one needs help. We should go." The two depart from the throng of monks that are sort of moving around the monastery, and then the four of you return back to the sewer grate where Loon and Lirin have been waiting.
I'll say, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. This is our friend Lirin.
He looks down and says, and his eyes sort of widen, and he asks, what seems to be going on and what it is. He turns to you, Loon, and what it is you were doing here in the sewers.
And Loon just sort of just kind of says a bunch. Well, we were told that you could help our friend, that the special kind of help you can give to our friend here.
He responds to you, and his face is sort of a little saddened. He says, there are many at the temple who need help, but I'm sure we can find someone. And with that, the three of them begin to climb down into the sewer. How is it that we can help? What is it that we can do to help your friend out of here? They ask.
Can they see Lirin?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, you're sort of, the way that you're positioned, there's sort of light coming down the tunnel.
Are they at all surprised at seeing Lirin?
They have they appear to be somewhat well versed in dealing with individuals that are hurt or otherwise need different kinds of medical attention. But they do seem a little bit confused as to why it is you are emerging from a sewer with an incapacitated dragonborn.
Right. So the dragonborn part doesn't seem to shock or surprise them. The confusion is why we're in the sewer and how Lirin is ailing.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's what you can sort of gather from their body language and the little conversation that you've had.
Okay.
Well, as you can see, Lirin can't really move much, so this was unfortunately the easiest way to get about, as it would look really bad while we're trying to help him. He can barely move. Do you think we should help him get up into the temple?
At the very least, the monk you first talked to calls down. We should get him somewhere safer, he says. And with that, his two companions begin to tie harness around Lirin. One of them begins to push, but then looks at Loon and says, I may need some help. He's a bit heavy.
Dense. It's dense.
It's
muscle.
All that
muscle.
fish.
Right. Yeah, it's all that fish. It's a very heavy beard. Yeah. Yes. So I'll sort of, one haunch, one leg kind of up on each of us and kind of pushing up, right? To sort of help the a strength check. It's like my two modifier for strength. What?
No.
Yeah, strength,
athleticism. Athletics. All right.
Make sure he gets that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. It's a 6.
Okay. With a 6 and with the aid of the monks, you do the best you can to push and shove, but your grip around Lirin slips, and he begins to slide back down, despite the monks trying to pull him up. In this moment, what would you like to do as you very quickly notice Lirin slipping back downwards?
I'll kind of just arms out, just very instinctively. I've herded animals my whole life, right, on the farm and stuff like that. And I've got a pretty decent sort of instinctual move to kind of grab and like catch a little. I'm assuming there's still a little bit of weight being supported by the harness too.
Yeah. But let's see how well your instincts. Can you roll your animal handling since you mentioned it?
Which one? Animal handling?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. How do I
come on.
do that? Animal friendship? No.
I thought
it's under your skills.
Yeah,
second one.
That is where your instinctive movements here are coming from.
Yeah. I'm not seeing it.
In the middle, under acrobatics, so your skills.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. All right. Here goes. It's a +5 modifier.
Come on. on.
Hey.
Oh my God, you're kidding me. A natural 1? That was a nat 1.
Oh,
You know what this group
Oh.
chokes under pressure.
Seriously,
That's what we do.
yeah, seriously. That's
you do
terrible.
the best you can to draw on the instincts you had from herding animals at the farm. Unfortunately,
They were small. They were like little goats. They weren't big dragons. Yeah.
You knock off a very integral piece of the harness that the monks have tied around. And now, Tamari, you see that Lirin is beginning to slip out of his harness, and he's still like a pretty good 15 feet off the sewer floor. In this moment, what would you like to do?
Can I try to grab? Wait, is there any secure part of the harness, or is the whole harness like coming apart?
He's like slipping, like Loon knocked him like out of a very important part. So he's slipping out. There's like, I don't know, you can see like 2 points are still pretty secure, but of the points that have come unsecured, Lirin's starting to slip out, and the monks are pulling, but they're almost pulling the harness off of him at this point rather than pulling Lirin out.
Tamari's not strong at all. Okay, I'm
No,
gonna
that's
try
terrible.
to grab at. Does Lirin wear a belt? I don't even know. Something that is like attached to Lirin. If not, then Lirin's like.
Grab him by the
Just
beard.
No, I feel like the beard would be the weakest point. Collar, cape. I don't know. I don't want to choke him, but I want to grab onto Lirin or whatever's closest to me.
So you're grabbing on clothing?
I don't think I can grab Lirin's giant claws. You know, whatever part of Lirin is
Grabbable.
closest is grabbable. Is grabbable. Arm, stronghold and arm with my super strength.
You're down. Tamari is down in the sewer again, right?
She's
I
like
thought I
kinda
was up.
near
Are
the
you
top.
up?
Yeah.
You're up.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
All right. Go ahead and man, how should we do this? I'm
It's very acrobatic. Wink,
yeah.
wink.
I mean, no,
It's that move.
that thing that you know how to do. Yeah, go ahead and roll that acrobatic.
Come on. 18.
Hey, there we go.
So using very quickly as she sees Lirin slip out of the harness, she almost like dives down, but with the 3 of her free limbs, sort of braces herself against the walls, and with her one free hand, she is able to grab Tamari by a sash. Grab Lirin by a sash that he's wearing, secure it, and then as she does so, the other 2 monks realize what is going on. One of them drops down and begins to readjust the harness, and in about 10 minutes of everybody working together, you are able to get Lirin out of the sewers.
10 minutes.
Forward.
And no one on the surface seems to have paid any of this
They're
any
all
mind.
yelling
They're
and
all
punching each other.
and arguing over hammer prices and stuff.
Hammers, fish.
The day's catch.
People
Yeah, right, yeah.
can haggle over. Like, you're actually surprised to see people fighting over the price of a pound of nails. But overall, nobody's paying any attention to what you're doing here.
Lirin, we're getting you that fish. Don't worry.
Again, Lirin's head sort of perks up, instinctively sniffs the air, and then falls back down.
Okay, are we out?
Yeah, are we all out? Do I also get harnessed up and Loon is back on
No,
the
Loon, you're on
surface?
your own.
I know, jeez. Holy cow. Rolling net ones down here.
Moving toward the...
I forget what it was I was still holding that pan flute and I'd forgot to put it down, so I slipped a little. It must have been what it was.
All right. Let's
It's the headache. I blame the headache.
Too far, so it takes another 2 minutes or so to walk over to the... Let's put this over here. Over to the Flowing Waters Temple, which I can actually add to your journal.
Yay.
Cool.
All right, passing through the temple entrance, you feel a wave of calm wash over you. True to its name, the temple halls echo with the sound of flowing waters. You taste the salty tang of ocean water in the enclosed air. and instinctively breathe in deeply. The main chamber at the center of the temple is well lit, thanks to openings in the ceiling that seem to let in the sunlight. At the center of the circular chamber, thick pillars of stone surround a small pool. All around you, monks mill about, speaking in small groups, moving carefully through rehearsed dance-like exercises or tending to citizens who have begun to mill in and out of the temple. Out of the corner of your eye, you notice a pair of dragonborn, one much smaller than the other, conversing quietly. The taller one, blue-skinned and supporting white feathers on a simple leather tunic, pats the smaller one and moves away to join another group of monks. What would you like to do?
I was actually just going to ask, could you zoom in on that for the stream? Because that's an awesome picture. I love that.
Thanks. I forgot where I got it from, but we can always do it to give the proper.
There's a signature in the corner. I can bear Minel something.
We can always track that down.
That's lovely. That's great.
Have we seen any other Dragonborn? I don't remember.
These are the, if I recall correctly, these are the only other, besides Lirin, these are the only other.
We're sort of in the big gaggle of the monks that we walked in with and all these people, and Loon just says sort of matter of factly, we need help for our friend.
Just kind of out loud to everybody?
Just kind of to everyone.
Okay. You call out for help, but everybody seems to be very absorbed in what they're doing except for this taller dragonborn who begins to walk toward you. In a few moments, they are standing before you and... Where are you? There we are. Okay. Standing before you is a tall female dragonborn. Her scales are a deep oceanic blue. Her musculature is long and lithe, accentuating the sharp features of her face. She wears simple tan robes that match the monks in the temple, though accentuated with feathers and red weaving that set her apart from the rest. She speaks in a low but confident tone, enunciating each word with precision. "Greetings to you," she says. "I am called Toki." She looks each of you over. "I am a traveler, much like yourselves, if I were to hazard a guess. What brings you to the temple?" she wonders.
Yes, we are not from here, and our friend Lirin, and I gesture over to Lirin, or maybe I'm holding Lirin, I don't know, on one shoulder, needs help.
Lirin is like shivering uncontrollably at this point. She looks over and says, "Many of the healers we have here, she corrects herself, have been overwhelmed with the sick and afflicted people who have been arriving. I don't know if you know this, but the temple does not charge for its services, you see. And while my own training has been focused on perfecting the abilities of my body, I believe my companion can help. Reza," she says. She gestures to a child-sized dragonborn nearby. "What can you say about this?" The young dragonborn begins to move toward your group. He looks up at you with wide eyes. He is, aside from the tall dragonborn, these are among the first of Lirin's species you've seen in the city, and covered in scales of blue jade. This adolescent's wrists and ankles are wrapped in the traditional bandages of the monks, if not a bit sloppily finished. They look wide-eyed at Lirin, and you get the sense that they have not seen many of their own kind either. "Whoa," he says as his eyes widen. "What's their name?" they ask.
This is Lirin. He's a great friend, very, very kind, I'm sure you would get along.
He moves slowly closer to the Lirin, who has now kind of begun to instinctively wrap his arms around himself to fight off the shivering. Is Lirin a shaper by any chance? He asks. Do they have a connection to the world beyond? He waits for your reply.
I kind of glance, like, just scanning, like, kind of when you're looking to be like, oh, is anyone else, like, listening to us or looking at us weird, and look at Loon. Well, and I lower my voice. Well, yes.
He looks excited for a moment. I knew it. I knew I wasn't the only one, he says out loud. Okay, let me see if I can just... And he sort of lays his tiny dragonborn hands onto Lirin's body. All of a sudden, his eyes begin to glow white, like Makoya's had, and his breathing slows. Lirin's breathing seems to slow down as well. After what seems like an eternity passes, the small dragonborn snaps out of his trance and turns to you. This is so weird, he says. Your friend, Lirin, he's in there, like his mind is awake and it's aware. I can feel it, but he can't say anything outside of these emotions he's sending out. He's in a lot of pain, the small dragonborn explains. Something inside him is changing, but I can't figure out what. He looks sheepish for a moment. It scratches the back of his head. I don't think I've gotten to that part of my lessons yet, he says. But can you leave him here with us? He asks. Toki, he looks over at his older companion. I mean, Che Toki, he corrects himself. Che Toki can take care of his basic needs, and I want to keep trying to reach out to him. See if I can snap him out of whatever this is. What do you think? He looks up at the two of you.
Yes, please. We would really, really appreciate that. Is there anything we can do to? I know you said that everything, there's no payment, but anything we can exchange to help? We would really appreciate this.
He moves close to you, Tamari, and he kind of waves you to bend down, come down toward his level.
Okay, I'll crouch down.
If anybody asks you, he whispers, I'm not here. I'm not training. And he turns around and brings his attention back toward Lirin. You won't tell anybody you met me, right? He says. There are people that are looking for kids like me. And he kind of goes silent. His voice trails off.
We understand. There seem to be people who are looking for Lirin, which is why we want to protect him. And if he does break out of this, just know that he really, really, really loves fish. Just a lot. The fish here is great.
He looks up at you with a big smile on his face. He's like a grown-up version of me, he says.
Loon sort of on at the mention of the taking kids like him, sort of perks up a little bit and says, "Wait, what do you know of the people who are taking these children, the kids like you?"
He moves close to you and he says, I don't leave the temple much. And he kind of lowers his voice. At least I'm not supposed to. Toki doesn't like it when I leave, but I had friends I used to play with, and I think the church got to them, he says. I don't see them anymore.
Did they live nearby?
He responds, they used to come to the temple a lot, so I'm guessing they did, but I never seem to see them with grown-ups or a family, he mentions.
Okay, well, we will leave Lirin here if that's okay. We will, only between us, and we will be back. Uh, if you don't mind, I'm Tamari. This is Loon. Uh, we're
Looks up
we're
at
happy
two
to
of
meet
you,
you.
and his eyes brighten. He says, "Well, my name's Reza," he says, "and I'm going to be a great healer someday. Great to meet you, Che Tamari, Kailun, and come visit."
What time of day? It's got to be getting kind of late. It was sort of midday when we headed
Yeah,
towards
now
the
it's
tail.
like,
So it's evening.
I would say like sunset-ish or so.
Sunset.
Not quite dusk, but sun's starting to go down.
I think perhaps we should head back towards the inn to rest for the evening. Along the way, we can stop at the forge again because my Lynn had something for you.
We need to stop by and get my goggles back.
Said an hour.
And then we'll see if your stuff is, or the status of your stuff.
So I think we're going to leave the temple and head towards the forge. Forge ahead.
Yes.
I've already used that.
As mentioned in our title. All right. You return back to Hanje's Forge. And as you enter, just as last time, there doesn't seem to be anybody minding the front of the shop, but you do hear quite a commotion behind the curtain that Malin usually comes in and out of. What would you like to do?
I'm just going to yell. I'm just going to...
I wanted to do the knock.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
I don't remember what the knock was, but
Yeah, it was a secret knock. You're right. Yeah.
I want to mimic that knock on whatever solid surface there is right next to me. Like, I don't know. Fill in whatever Sweater Wolf did last time.
Yeah,
I forgot about the knock. Yeah.
Tables, like the cashier bar thing. All right, so you rap loudly on the wood, and then all of a sudden you see Malin's round, soot-covered face poke out of the curtain, and she says, "Kai Lirin, that was our knock." And then she looks at the two of you, and she looks a little surprised. "Hey, where's Kai Lirin?" she wonders.
Lirin's not feeling well, but we're here we came back. We came back to see how you've been working.
Her eyes widen. "I have been doing nothing else for the last hour. Check these out." And she runs back into the back of the forge and then emerges about a minute later with the goggles that you gave her, looking really, really different than they used to. "Check this out," she says, and with sort of a flick around one, you see the lenses start to change around the goggles. Now they can do even more than they could before, she says.
Whoa! So I'll grab them and also flick at it. This is so cool. And I'll put it on. Turn to Lou and be like, "Hey, look."
She sort of takes
Very
two steps back
good.
and makes a little frame with her hands, saying, "Yes, those look great on you. And I wasn't hungry today, so look what I did during lunch." And she runs back and grabs a quiver of the arrows that you had given her. Now there are about 17 of them. And she says, "Wait till you see what these can do." She takes one out and flicks she flicks some energy into the back of the arrow. All of a sudden it begins to hum. She says, "Hey, I'm gonna need you two to stand away from that suit of armor in the corner, would you?"
So I'll shuffle off to the side.
And she sort of takes aim at a suit of full plate armor. She loads it into a bow, draws the bow back, releases it. You see a streak of electric energy fly across the room, and when it hits the armor, it explodes in a flash of sparks and electricity. And she says, "Huh? What do you think?"
Oh dear, Loon. I hope the rice wine doesn't affect your aim, because that's some pretty powerful stuff.
I'll just nod approvingly.
She hands you the quiver, which now have 16 of the arrows. It's going to be a little while, she says, turning to Loon specifically. But I think I have some ideas for that gun you were looking for. It's not, and she kind of leans in toward you. It's not anything the guards have access to, but I think I can whip something up real cool. Come back in a few days, she says.
Young one, you make your father proud.
She looks at you, beaming with pride, and says, and I can't wait till he gets back, and I can show him what I can do.
Maylin, I turn, to her fully and say, have any of your friends ever just gone missing?
She thinks for a moment. My friends? No, not really, she says. But my friends are all, and she looks at Tamari, they're all our age, so I can't imagine why, she says to you. Are you missing anybody that you know? She asks.
Have you heard stories around town of children going missing, being taken?
She thinks for a moment. Ooh, that is pretty scary, she says. I haven't, but I'll keep an ear out, and if any of the customers mention it, I'll make sure to make a note, she says.
All right. I think we're going to continue back towards the tavern, right? Mm-hmm. My head is aching. My whistle needs wetting. Buwan's rice wine will have to do tonight. I'm afraid.
Yeah. Well, we'll stop by and see you later. We'll bring back Lirin, but thanks for everything.
Everything's good.
She turns to you and says, okay, as long as he's okay and you're okay, I'll be here. And she kind of gives a salute and starts to walk back toward the other chamber in the room.
I'm going to suggest not going terribly close to the church, sort of going the southern, around the market towards the kind of, I can, you can draw, like right?
Oh,
yeah, black. Yeah, exactly. Just kind of
like one of those situations.
Yeah. Yes. Now, how do I delete that? I forget.
I think
totally. Yeah. That kind of, the market is still, kind of busy, right? From the sort of end of day business and before the sort of nighttime business is open and things, right? So we can pass, especially now that Lirin is no longer with us. I think we might be less conspicuous, I guess.
Okay. Passing around, you're sort of going through the market square. So is there anything you need to pick up while you're on the way? You're going back to the West Gate, right? Where Buwan is?
The West Gate Inn, yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Anything you need to grab or pick up, resupply while you're headed?
No, we can eat at the inn. And more importantly, we can drink something at the inn as well. That'd be good.
All right. You find yourself just as night begins to fall, returning back to the tavern. Menu hasn't changed much, so you have your choice of food, drink, place to sleep. What would you like to do?
I will order. I think I see Buwan back there. I give him sort of a knowing but somewhat dirty look. And say I need a little bit of rice wine tonight.
He gives you an equally knowing look and brings out sort of a carafe that is. It does not seem that any of the other patrons in the establishment have one this size. It's twice the size of what he's usually giving out to people. And he kind of leans his elbow onto the bar and says, one of those days, huh, friend?
I'll lean over and be like, Buwan, is this really necessary? You know this guy. He's a little,
And he sort of throws his head back and laughs raucously. Hey, as long as you don't make any trouble afterwards, Jenny won't have to come after you, he says. Laughs again to himself and walks back over to the rest of the patrons who have begun to dig into their dinners and their drinks and their evening conversation.
I'll turn to Tamari and say, sometimes quantity over quality is the answer, and begin to pour out.
Well, is your head feeling better? That was really something else. And the fact that we seem to be going back to that guy or where he is it's not the best.
Loon sort of just sits back and just kind of looks around the room, but isn't really looking at anything in the room, and turns to Tamari and say, what is happening? Think of our day just today. What is this that we're doing here?
I don't even know. I don't like I said, I have never heard of Makoya. I thought that Yari and I were close. That's all I'll say.
I kind of knowingly nod and say, I thought we were close too.
I really hope Lirin's okay. Man, yeah, what a day. Everyone's after us. Lirin is out. But I got these cool goggles. They're pretty sweet.
I certainly am looking forward to using Malin's handiwork here as well.
But if what Makoya said, or was it Makoya who said this to us? If what was said to us,
Yes.
if that was true, with, and I lower my voice, with kids being taken, I mean, I don't know why they think we're strong enough, I guess, but that is not okay.
Loon just kind of nods and says, I think our path is clear, but the way through it isn't.
Like, what are we supposed to do? Just, like, sneak out in the... Tamari has this realization.
That was fun to watch in real time.
Man, this food is really good. Changes the subject abruptly.
I think it's my head. Buwan's wine is only making this worse. I think I need to just call it a night.
Yeah. We can rest here. They know us here. They like us here, I think. I don't know.
So I think we'll settle the tab and inquire about rooms.
As you settle up, Jenny, she's not working the bar tonight. She's bouncing outside. Comes in and she walks toward Loon and Tamari, and in a low voice says, "Hey, there's some guard-looking types outside looking for the three of you, but you're not here, are you?" And she kind of turns and winks at the two of them.
I mean, I don't see three of us at all.
I didn't
I'm not
think
anywhere ever, so.
She kind of looks at Tamari knowingly. Yeah, that's what I thought. She turns around and walks back toward the front. She looks around at Loon specifically, and she says, "No trouble, yeah?" And then she turns back around and heads out the front door of the bar.
Well, that's ominous. I think we should try to lay low and sleep, and maybe the a new day they'll forgotten about us.
Maybe. I think we're going to become more familiar with these sewers. Unfortunately.
I just look at the bottom of my pants and nod. Oh, I should have bought pants at the market.
That's sweatpants.
Oh yeah, next time we got to roll them up a bit.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. What are you doing? Off to bed?
I think
Yeah.
to our rooms anyway.
To a room, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure bed is in the cards for all of us. Loon is going to bed.
What are you talking about? Tamari is not anywhere ever.
Right.
All right. Night falls on the city. I was asking this somewhere in there. I need an excuse to play with music. And patrons downstairs sort of begin to quiet down as you head back upstairs. You're in that sort of little foyer area with your rooms all around you. A little lonely, sort of a tinge of loneliness creeps in when you think about your missing companion. But other than that, you have the rest of the night to do whatever it is you would like. Oh, that's not what I was trying to do.
Interesting.
Oh man, we should have gotten another beard for Lirin.
There we go.
Oh, there it is. Got it. It's nighttime.
It's night, as you can see.
I just sort of turn to Tamari kind of blearily and say, young one, I have to rest. My head is still pounding and I just have to think about what it is we're doing here.
Yeah. I mean, we'll check on Lirin in the morning, and I hope that some progress has been made. Are you heading to bed?
Yeah, I'm gonna head to bed. But look at private chat. Yes, look at private.
Wait, you got.
You can certainly try.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Tamari will also turn to retreat to the room to we're both parting ways to go to our respective rooms.
Okay. What are you doing, Loon? You going to bed?
Well, I'm gonna sort of go to bed.
Sort of go to bed.
Yes.
You can trust me.
But I mean, there is like a window where we're on the first floor, even, right?
Yeah.
So there's a window in the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's sort of facing out, and as you look out the window, you can see it's facing. Let me see. It's facing to the east, so toward the dock side of the city. On the right side of you, you can see looming over you the city guard building. On the left side, you can see the mansion of Governor Abbott, and then just beyond that, you can see the tall towers of the Church of the One.
Okay, Tamari is in her room, and she's glancing out the window just to scan, are there guards patrolling outside or any sort of patrol going on, because she is trying to leave her room.
All right. You take a look out, and you do see there are two guards posted sort of where they had been all day. You've noticed these same two guards, but they both look like they are dead asleep, sitting on the floor where their posts sort of should be. One of them kind of stirs, turns awake to the other one, sees that his partner is asleep, turns back and sort of begins to rest his eyes once again.
Oh dear. Okay. Tamari's plan, because I don't fully remember the details, but Tamari would like to meet the Huntress. So I'm trying to go to that spot that she said that I so clearly remember. It was outside of the city, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it was just outside the west gate on the edge of the forest.
So like past the guard area
Yeah, you'd have to
that
like
we
get
just
out.
came through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Heading in that direction.
Does the window open?
Yeah, the window opens pretty easily. Yeah.
Okay. I want to stealth and not wake up the guards that are outside.
Okay, let's roll it and see how it goes.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me read something real quick before I roll. Oh, no, it's only a minute. Okay, yeah. Stealth, come on, Tamari. You got this. Please don't make. Is that a 20? Is that a 20? That's a natural
sure
20.
Is. Nice.
Ooh. All right. So stealthily, you easily flip out of the window, and with your natural 20, what does that look like? What does it look like for you to get past these guards without even a hint of them knowing that you're there?
Well, see, I was considering whether or not I would shift to be more cat-like, but I think Tamari has practiced enough in her like shifting in and out form to be very graceful. So I'm kind of like my body is moving in a way that I don't think I've actually performed like this ever in my life, but my determination is taken over, where I'm kind of like, you know, being one with like the movements, like, you know, when you're in the shadows or you see like cartoon characters in the shadows and then they like contort their body to go around to the next like shadowy thing. That's what she's doing, like finding, okay, this is a tree, I am slender like a tree, and then I'm like, you know, low like a cat and just crouching about and going off to the next one.
Oh man, I wish I had the Trap House Pink Panther.
Yes.
What I hear in my head is the Pink Panther trap as you move your way out. All right, you are past the guards. You are heading in the direction of the western gate, about here. When around a corner, you crash into somebody that you did not see. You both fall to the ground, and in the darkness, you notice it is Reza from the temple, the Dragonborn from the temple, but she is covered in blood, and her eyes are wide as she turns to you, and almost with sort of choked up in her voice, she rushes out an explanation. There has been an attack on the temple, and she came to look for you because Lirin has been taken.
What? Are you okay? Are you bleeding?
She looks down and sort of almost as if it's for the first time noticing, and she says, it's not mine, but her voice trails off. Oh, sorry, I like messed up the name. Sorry, this is Toki who has arrived, not Reza. Reza's the little one.
The little one, yeah.
Her voice trails off. But Reza, she says, he tried to fight, and she sort of gets up and starts to move toward the temple, grabbing your hand along the way. Please, Che Tamari. I don't know what happened. I don't know how they found us, she says. And she begins to try and lead you back in the direction of the temple.
Okay, we have to grab Loon.
Where is he? She asks.
He's at the inn, the Westgate Inn right here.
Oh, I will wait for you then, she says. And she sort of moves into the shadows, careful not to wake the other two nearby guards.
Okay, I'll rush over to where I think Loon's room is and try to like see is Loon in here. I'm trying to find the window to tap at.
And
outside of your door, Loon, you hear shuffling footsteps, but you don't know who's there.
So the surprising twist to this element is that I'm actually not in my room at all. The window is already open, and from behind Tamari, a finger taps her shoulder. What are you doing here?
Oh, never mind that. We have to go. Lirin's been taken.
What? In a sort of stupor. What?
We have to go to the temple now.
All right.
Oh, but we kind of have to. There's guards here. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. Should we just run or should we stealth?
I'm following you on this one.
Okay. But come on, just follow my lead. Like, go in the shadows. Come on. And so I'll start to try to show, this is how you stealth. This is how you move in the shadow.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops! I do not know what I just did. I just like took off all the tokens on the map.
Oh. Yeah.
Undo is not super reliable on Roll20 either. So,
Oh no.
well, anyway. All right. Do you have a sense of how of the path you want to take to get to the temple?
Is Tuki still there?
Yeah, she's with you. You can lead her if you want.
Or I just want to ask, like, what's the fastest way to? Is there a fast way to get there?
When you ask, she explains the fastest. I mean, the most direct way is to just sort of make a beeline, sort of across the city. So I guess that would be the. Sorry, wrong temple. That.
It's like a beeline.
I'm afraid to erase things.
It didn't change your color. That's weird.
Oh,
You selected green, but it still did black. That's weird.
what? So weird. So strange.
Here, I'll see if it does it for mine. Oh yeah. All right. So that way. However,
Yeah.
we definitely don't want this. We.
That would be the straightest, the most direct path. Yep.
The straightest path isn't always the best path.
Okay, so Tamari is like urgent, so I feel like this is she like wants to go the direct path. Like, let's go.
All right. I see the sort of panic in Tamari's eye. I'm still not sure what's happening, but I'll continue following Tamari.
All right. Your journey over to the Temple of Flowing Waters is relatively uneventful. The streets are strangely quiet, but the closer you get, you can smell burning wood in the air. You can hear crying and shouting. And as you approach the temple, you can see that part of it, part of the outer wall has been broken open. Bodies of monks line the floor with gashes across their chests and face and limbs. And as you enter the temple, your eyes very quickly catch sight of a group of people gathered around the body of Reza, the small dragonborn. He looks up at the two of you with recognition, and he calls out to you as Toki rushes past you and starts to tend toward his wounds, tend to his wounds. What would you like?
I know. What happened?
Reza looks up at you, coughs, and says, "It was her." His voice is hoarse. "I saw her, all red, the eye patch," he chokes out. "It was Yang Lijiang, the Crimson Thorn," he says. Toki turns to him and says, "Yang Lijiang, she's not supposed to be in the city." "What are you talking about?" she asks. Reza turns to her. "I know what I saw," he says. "It was her. Who else could do this?" And he sort of gestures around and he coughs a bit and he says, "I'm sorry." He turns to Loon and Tamari. I tried to fight. I wasn't strong enough." And sort of tears begin to well up in his eyes.
Oh no, it's okay. What? So she just walked into here, and then what?
He turns to you and says, She wasn't alone. There were men with her." He chokes out. "Men in robes and white and gold. I couldn't see it all through the fire, but it looked like they were using shaping magic."
Oh. She's not a dragonborn, is she?
he turns to you and says, "No, no, she's a human." But his voice, he thinks for a moment. "She's almost more than that," he says. "I've never seen someone do what she can do." And as he speaks, you see one of the monks carrying another sort of draped over his shoulder with, again, just like a massive gash across his abdomen.
I look to Loon.
Right. Which way did they go?
To Lirin.
Which direction?
He thinks for a moment, and then he points and he says, "They went back toward the docks. I don't know where. I didn't see them after they rounded that corner," he says.
And
Okay.
It's pretty clear Loon wants to just go. I'm focused now.
Okay. Did you take off? I'm gonna start running at the sound, the word docks.
Yeah. We just start
At this point.
that way.
Okay. You very quickly sprint through the now empty streets. It's probably the middle of the night. The moon is full, shining down its light over everything in the city. You arrive at the docks under the cover of night. You notice something a little bit strange. There is only one ship that is docked centrally in the port, and several hooded individuals seem to be milling cautiously around it. What would you like to do? Or like heroes?
Okay.
What can we do that will only take a couple of minutes? Because we're almost at time here. This feels like a big something's going to happen.
Yeah. Is there a way?
I mean, why don't we do this? Why don't we just very quickly show you the situation that you find yourselves in, and then why don't we call it?
Okay. Well, Tamara's thinking to herself, "Can I swim? What is Tamari's like?"
Why don't we call it for the day? But here you are. You are you arrive from the side. You see again a shady individual. You can see this is my little experiment with vision.
Vision.
I love it.
Yeah, but how about here? How about we leave off
Yes.
here?
Oh no, Sweater, I'm so sorry.
Picture a good cliffhanger. Dun, 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 or something.
Exactly.
Tense music and a smash cut.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like it. Yeah, that's good.
Big.
This feels big.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. This feels. There we go.
Hey.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Lirin, what the
plots?
the many plots thicken.
By the way, Mark Songs, hi, hey, thanks for hanging out.
Mark.
By the way,
Yeah.
Hello there.
sorry if we weren't responding during the actual game, but kind of into it, as you can see.
I thought you were gonna kill that poor kid. At
I
least
know.
he
I
was
thought that he
talking.
was dead
Dead.
too, and I was like, "Oh God, not the little baby."
Not the cute little dragonborn kid. You described his tiny hands touching and healing, and then all of a sudden,
Like a mini
corpse.
Lirin.
Yeah, right?
I'm glad neither of you were at my stream on Monday because I did reveal a secret about myself. I guess I could just tell you right now, as a writer, I really don't like break the cutie as a trope. It's so devastating to me as a viewer. So
Yeah,
it's
sure.
probably not something you see
All right, good.
in my games.
You put him in danger, but not all the way, right? that was
The
was
monks
good.
in the sewer.
Monks, yeah, in the sewer. You really wanted us to go into the sewer in like episode 2, and we were like, no, we're gonna take the woods, but we ended up back in the sewer.
I have so much to say during our debrief. I have so much to say.
We can spend a couple minutes debriefing. That's cool. We can spend a few. I just didn't want to like get into like something, like if this is going to be a fight or something, because it felt like it feels like we're gearing up for a fight or something.
Right. Well, yeah. Something.
Or we might be able to sneak. Yeah, we can sneak. With the vision cone might be a sneaking sort of thing.
Evil villain monologue, just being like, I am the Scarlet Thorn. Let me tell you all about my plans.
That's right.
No.
And you'll never be able to overcome the thing that I'm going to tell you all about. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to go for a little like comedy meet cute kind of thing. But it got a little tense there, so I was going to sneak
way
off
more
to
intense than I thought it was going to be.
I thought we were going to bump into it. The joke was going to be I had snuck out as well to head to Bina's to get better rice wine, unbeknownst to Tamari.
Oh, Tamari, my head hurts so bad.
Right. So that we were bumped into each other. But we bumped into with a lot of threat happening. So that's all right. That's good.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. The plot is really twisting here. Because now we have.
Maybe I'm not so confident we can wrap this up in 4 sessions.
I know.
I think we can come to some satisfying conclusion in 4 sessions.
Yeah, the smell of I'm actually this is the one stream where Prof A, you didn't really describe the smells.
Yeah, you didn't describe the sewer smell.
The sewer smell, which I'm actually kind of grateful. I can imagine, but it was good. That was good. All right, so
from that aspect of
yeah.
That was cool, y'all.
So let me also point out for viewers and for my fellow players and stuff like that. I keep a journal of names because it was like actions that we would do and things. I started out being like, oh, this is what we did, and all it is the only thing I have room for, just all the names, all these names, my friend. Yeah, Reza and Toki and Yang Lijian and Koya. Oh my gosh. Got lots of new names to play with.
I'm adding people to your journal.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So Toki should be in there. Reza should be in there.
That's cool. Cool. Reza. Yeah.
Oh, Makoya.
You already had Makoya. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess we will find out what happens when Sweater gets back.
Yeah. I actually, I know you wouldn't do it, but for like a split second, because it just wouldn't be a cool thing to do. But for a split second, I thought all the blood and Lirin. I was like, you didn't kill. I mean, you can't kill Lirin. When Sweater's not here and off screen. Yeah. But like for like a split second, I was like, no, because that would be a brilliantly evil thing for you to have figured out, behind the scenes. Also, but you can't do that off screen. But interesting. All right, good.
Can't die.
We can't die. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so much I'm so excited to tell you all during our little.
Ooh, or we come back as whatever came back with Yari and the Tale Teller. That's how you communicate with us.
That's cool. By the way, I've appreciated both times where one of us has have been absent, that you've made creative ways to sort of narratively explain that as well. Lirin collapsing and Loon becoming drunkenly obsessed with guns.
I didn't know these things. This is why I don't plan that far ahead, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
But then they end up happening. So.
That's cool.
Even the story tells us where it wants to go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next week, then, friends. Anybody have any self promo? Wizard, where can I find you next?
Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific time, I'm continuing Portal 2.
Yeah.
Which, I've been like rewatching the VOD for that because there's so much I miss in between when Gladys is talking, and I'm like I'm getting distracted by something else, and I don't know how this story is gonna end. I'm very excited about it, so I'm like very excited. That's tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific time.
Awesome.
Nice. Very cool.
Okay.
I am on right before you on Prophet Plays. What am I doing again? I really actually forgot what I was doing. Oh, I just started Brothers.
That's such a
So
good
this
game.
is part of my backlog confessions, right? Because like it's a game I talk about and it's a game that I'm aware of, but it's actually not a game I've ever played all the way through. So that's
So good. I wrote
pretty good.
an article, a journal article about Brothers.
Oh, nice.
Such a good game. Oh, enjoy. You can probably do it in one, maybe 2 streams.
I started watching your stream, but I obviously didn't see the spoiler because you started that on Monday, right? Yeah. So I like scrubbed through and then I did something. So I didn't see it, but I did see part of your
There's a
gameplay
moment
for
in
that.
there where I talk about Break the Cutie is a very effective trope. That's why I hate it.
Yeah, right.
Because it works wonders on me, but I'm not entirely comfortable inflicting that on other people. You know, as a player, so yeah. But that's cool. That's good. Cool. And then Jay, where will the people find us next live on stream?
Yeah, I may actually in another week or two, I might have a little time for some streaming. I'll keep y'all posted and stuff like that. The kids are back in school in another week. So I might have a little, and I'm between prepping for class. I might have a week or two where I'm going to stream a little bit. But you can find us in full. All 4 of us, hopefully, will be back. The Cosmos willing will be here at our new regular time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and any of the variations therein next Thursday. And we will find out what we're going to do to get Lirin out of this situation. These many situations. It's great.
All right, friends. We will catch you all until next time. Thanks for hanging out.
You bet.